This week in fashion, Kylie Jenner dropped her third drop for the Kai label. And spoiler alert, you might want to mute your phone. It's Skims. Literally, it's a more relaxed version of Skims. It's oversized hoodies, it's cropped hoodies, it's sweatpants, it's sweat shorts, in a very primary, basic color palette. So there's black, there's red, there's white, there's gray, I believe. And essentially, I get that what she's going after is a very easy dressing to get an easy wardrobe that you can sort of mix and match and switch in and out. But I have to admit, at this point, it kind of feels like trolling a little bit because it's the same exact formula, wash, rinse, repeat, as what her sister's doing. But essentially, it's exactly the same thing. What are your thoughts? Secondly, there was a couple of pre-fall shows this week. So Balenciaga showed in LA, which Balenciaga is known since the beginning of time of being sort of a disruptor brand, and a lot of their themes are very satirical. There was some decent pieces at the beginning of the show. Cardi B walked out in a really cute blue fur coat. And then towards the end of the show, it became sort of like a parody of like the 2000s. So there were models wearing these big, oversized UGG-like boots, yoga pants, and like workout gear, and it was just really exaggerated with really big, oversized like dad sneakers. Like, again, it's just I'm looking for a little bit more creativity, but I guess they're just trying to continue to move away from the controversy from 2 seasons ago. So we'll see. Pharrell did his second collection with Louis Vuitton. He did the men's pre-fall collection in Hong Kong. And it was really exciting to see because you're really seeing some of the Pharrell codes. Like, he really took some of the Louis Vuitton codes and kind of like transformed it into like his personal style. The overall theme that I kind of got from the show was a very South Pacific Hawaiian kind of vibe, even like with some sailor hat like silhouettes. And again, it's all about the accessories and really, re-embellishing that speedy bag. I love the speedy bag, so I'm excited to see all the new things that Pharrell is doing. So again, I think he's just slowly making his mark on the Louis Vuitton brand. I read an article, I can't remember which news outlet had it, but basically just talking about, are celebrities fit to be creative directors for some of these fashion brands? And I think it really depends on who you are and what the brand is. Somebody like Pharrell, I think, is somebody who's always been super stylish and he's always been a trendsetter. Actually, one of my interviews that I just did on my YouTube series, Real Life Fashion Stories, was with a Christian streetwear designer that credited Pharrell for really sort of being an inspiration to him and changing his style. So I think in terms of that part of the conversation, I think somebody like Pharrell is super qualified to be a creative director of a brand like Louis Vuitton. Some of the other celebrity creative directors, not so much. I saw one of the comments saying being a creative director when you have a stylist is wild. But again, in some of those instances, it's really just about having a face behind the brand to really sort of push and sell, right? So some of these celebrity creative director positions are really sales positions. But I don't think that's the case for Louis Vuitton. Next, in conversations of runway shows, so Family Mart, which is quite literally the CVS or the 7-Eleven of Japan, hosted a runway show in partnership with a designer for the brand Facetasm, I believe the name of the brand is. And it was really interesting, like talking about basic mix and match wears. It looked a lot like the Kai Drop 3, but they labeled it convenience wear. So it was just a lot of your basics, solid color shirts, polos, denim looks, just really, really, like they said, convenience wear. So I think it was just a really interesting take, that we are sort of moving into this new phase. I feel like last season it was all about quiet luxury, and now it's really all about basics that you really can't tell, is it high end, is it not high end? So personally, my particular style is, I'm such a basics girl. You guys know that. Like, I definitely love my gray sweatpants, but I like to put things in an interesting silhouette. I like remixing things and making things that were a pants into a dress or something like that. So I like the basic dressing vibe, but I'm a little nervous because I think we might be veering too far down a path of where everybody is just gonna look like NPCs at this point. Today officially kicks off Art Basel. There's a lot of fashion installations. Definitely follow the Art Basel page. They're posting constantly with all the different panel discussions, talks, galleries that you should go check out. I still haven't decided if I'm gonna make my way out to Miami this weekend or not, but definitely there's a lot of fashion activizations that are going on. One of the things that I did want to talk about is that Louis Vuitton did a collection with architect Frank Gehry. And it was really interesting. He created 4 pieces with pretty distinct themes. The first one was really about architecture and form. The second one was about material exploration. The third one was in an animal theme, and then the last one was all about a twisted box. So really interesting perspective on the fashion world. I think art and fashion has this really cool relationship. So I'll be excited to see if I do make my way out there. I'll be excited to see some of those fashion installations. And then Pyre Moss, who we know is the one of the brands by Kirby. He is a marketing genius. If you've been following over the years, a lot of his shows and marketing campaigns are really, really, really brilliant. He staged a show in Madam C.J. Walker's home up in Westchester, shout out to 914, a couple of years ago, and it was really, really, really cool and kind of playing on some of the themes of stereotypes and black women in the household. So again, he does these big sort of marketing things that definitely gets the attention. But his latest move is he's doing what's called a loot out with everything that we know that's going on in the retail world, where there's just these groups of people that are running into retail establishments and just kind of grabbing everything that they can off the shelves. And in my opinion, I really just feel like it's a sign of the times. It just reminds me of the 80s. When I was a kid and growing up, if anybody is, an 80s baby and you remember what New York City looked like in the 80s, a lot of that, I see a lot of those same themes happening right now. And if you tie it back to our economic state of this country, it makes sense. So I'm just hoping that things will get better eventually, but a great way for Kirby to spin that and make it a marketing ploy. So what the deal is that you can sign up for two spots. You can either get the $100 package or the $300 package. And basically with the $100 package, you have 1 minute you give your phone and you can just put on as much as you can for 1 minute, and someone will take a picture of you when you leave. Or the second option is the 300 option where you get 5 minutes. So I think it's brilliant. I would definitely do it. I'm just not a
Haters and police are not welcomed.
Crowds and lines and all that stuff, but it sounds like it's a good time, and I can't wait to see when some of those pictures come out and what some of you guys get to grab. So if you have any thoughts on any of the stories that I talked about in this week's fashion news, let me know, put it in the comments, and I'll see you again soon.